Now, Conservative MP for Mid-Beds, Nadine Dorries, caused a minor sensation at Westminster when the country woke up one morning to learn she was to spend the next fortnight eating spiders and being covered by cockroaches in the Australian jungle on I'm A Celebrity. Came as a bit of a shock to Tory party bosses too. They say they were taken by surprise and they immediately removed the parliamentary whip from her. Now she's back, still suspended, but utterly unrepentant. I'm going to speak to her in a moment, but first, this is her case in her own words.
For the last 7.5 years, I have represented the constituents of Mid Bedfordshire for almost every day of my life. Being an MP isn't a job, it's more of a life choice. When the producers of I'm A Celebrity offered me the chance to go into the jungle, I saw that as an opportunity to engage with a whole new electorate that Conservative MPs like myself don't normally have an opportunity to engage with. I saw this as an opportunity to change perceptions, to show people that Conservative MPs are just like everybody else, that we're mums and dads and sons and daughters. When I left, there was a knee-jerk reaction invoked by the media, which became almost hysterical. The papers are full of scurrilous lies about myself and my family. Journalists wrote that I was away for a month. It wasn't even 2 weeks. Parliament was on its own half-term holiday and I missed absolutely no legislation. Knowing that I was going away, I worked throughout the year and only took 4 days off this summer. Everyone who works has holidays. Even the Prime Minister takes holidays. I just chose to do something a little bit different with mine. In 7.5 years, I have never taken a single parliamentary day away. Not one.
Oh, you're so good. I said really good things about you. That were on the BBC website.
You look better now than in this.
Hello, what's your name? The reality is that the reaction on the street has been overwhelmingly positive. And when I went into a supermarket the other day, I was cheered. That doesn't happen every day. Michael Gove told me a lovely story in the Commons the other evening about how when he was visiting a school in St Helens last week, the children wanted to know from him, do you know Nadine, what's she like? And he told me that he said to the children, if she was your mum, would you be embarrassed or proud? And they all put their hands up and shouted, proud. Children run up to me on the street with their mobile phones and they say, are you Nadine Dorries? Are you the MP? What's it like to eat a spider? And meanwhile, back in Westminster, in the corridors of power, my whip was suspended and my name was removed from the Conservative Party's website list of MPs. In 2015, a whole new generation of voters will go into the voting booth in Mid-Beds, put a cross next to my name and know exactly who they're voting for. Far from being a disaster, I'm A Celebrity was a total success. I have no regrets and I would do it all again.
And Nadine Dorries joins me now from her constituency in Mid-Beds. Welcome to the programme. Let me put to you what critics are saying and get your response to it. They're saying that the Parliament that brought us Margaret Thatcher, Winston Churchill, is now the Parliament of Nadine Dorries, I'm A Celebrity and reality TV. You've undermined the reputation of the Commons. What say you?
Well, my response to that is that 12 million people watch I'm A Celebrity, and I think what they are articulating is a pompous and very narrow-minded attitude, that there is something about Parliament which is detached from people. You know, I always said, actually, that one of my sort of reasons for going in was that it's very pompous of people like, you know, myself and you and others to expect people to look to us to find out about politicians. We shouldn't expect them to look at Westminster or programmes like yours, but we as MPs have a responsibility to go where they are, and that for me was the challenge.
But they cut out, as I understand it, nearly all your political discussion. They only saw you eating disgusting things and being covered in insects. There was no politics.
Well, they cut out the politics and there was a huge amount of discussion, I can tell you. But, you know, the upshot for that for me is this, That whereas before I went into I'm a Celebrity, people may have listened to what I wanted to say for about 3 minutes. Now they'll listen, or even 3 seconds if I was lucky. Now they'll listen for a lot longer because they'll know who I am, they'll know the kind of person I am, and they know what I stand for. So when I speak about issues political, they will know who's talking about them, and that is a huge achievement in politics.
Was that all for the greater good of the Conservative Party or for Nadine Dorries?
Well, if you walked around my constituency with me, you'd think it was for the greater good of the Conservative Party. And if you listen to what other MPs are telling me about what their constituents are saying to them and what the children in their schools are saying to them, you know, it's not many children know in schools in Liverpool and Newcastle and Leeds what a Tory politician's name is. And what I do know is that in those very areas, the Google search for my name shot up. 20 times more people search my name than Nick Clegg's or George Osborne's in those areas.
It was for the greater good of. It was for the greater good of Nadine Dorries, people will say.
No, I think it was for the greater good of the Conservative Party. I think that it showed that Tory politicians aren't afraid to go out and engage with people on their level, and we go to where those people choose to make their life choices and to where they want to find out their information.
How much of, what size will the fee be when you have to declare it on the members' register?
Do you know, Andrew, anything I earn from the programme, I started the first of my charitable donations yesterday, will be declared in the Register of Members' Interest. But let me ask you, you interview every day male MPs, maybe on this programme today, who earn outside earnings, work as full-time barristers and have other interests. Have you ever asked them what they earn, or is it just something you ask for women?
No, quite often we bring up the issue of how much money they earn elsewhere, and it does have to be registered. We'll wait and see.
I've never heard you ask a male MP what fee he's being paid for the work that he does.
Maybe you have to watch our programmes more often instead of being in the jungle.
Anyway,
you're currently suspended from the Conservative Parliamentary Party. Would you like the whip to be restored?
Well, of course I'd like the whip to be restored, but that's in the jurisdiction of the Chief Whip.
Would you? Do you expect
one of the issues he named was that I had to speak to my Conservative Association and my constituents. My association had a meeting last week and there was a 100% vote that the whip is returned. You only have to come out the streets with me and my constituency to know what my constituents think. So now it's down to Sir George Young.
If another reality TV programme comes along with an offer, are you likely to do it?
I think this might have been my once in a lifetime.
You've had enough, you think?
I don't think I'm likely to be offered another reality TV programme, actually.
Oh, I wouldn't put that in the long grass. There are suggestions that if the Tory whips either won't restore the whip or put on too tough conditions, that you might defect to UKIP. Would you consider that?
Do you know, I think you must be about the 20th person that's asked me that over the last year. I'm looking forward to receiving the Tory whip back. I'm a Conservative and I've always been a Conservative. Is
it your intention to fight your constituency as a Conservative at the next election?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Is it your intention to fight the constituency as a Conservative at the next election?
Yes.
And
yes, I very much hope so.
And you would rule out running as a UKIP candidate at the election?
Look, I am very much hoping that I will have my whip restored in the not too distant future and I will fight Mid-Bed's constituency as a Conservative MP. For no other reason than I love this constituency. I've given my life to it for the last 7.5 years, and now as a result of I'm a Celebrity, just about every single person knows who I am.
Do you think your political career is effectively over?
No, not at all. It might just be beginning.
So what is the political ambition now for Nadine Dorries?
Well, I've always had issues that I've championed, such as reducing the 24-week abortion limit to 20 weeks, euthanasia, ageism, funny enough, in the BBC is one of my issues. But what the most important thing for me now is that when I talk about reducing the upper limit of abortion from 24 weeks to 20, that people may listen and they'll know who's talking about it. And for me, it was really about that.
Nadine Dorries, thank you for being on the Sunday Politics.